All right, hey everybody, Mark Dunway here from the kitchen table, licensed counselor and marriage and family therapist and life coach. I just wanted to add to some of the topics we've been talking about, in particular about how to understand your backstory so that it doesn't sabotage your present experience in life. So it's sometimes hard for everyday folks to think the past has any impact on the present, because if you look around and you're walking about doing your thing, I mean, the only place you exist in the here and now is in the here and now. So it doesn't make sense to a lot of people that the past has anything to do with the present unless you understand the function of the brain, biology, and survival. And so our brain is built on the premise of the first priority being to keep you alive, biologically speaking. So our brains are wired for survival. Our brains are wired to accomplish that by predicting the next second of your existence. And the way that your brain does that is by referencing everything you've ever been through in your entire life that's held in subconscious memory to predict the next event. A good example of that would be why PTSD actually has a function. So post-traumatic stress disorder, for those of you who don't know, has a biological function. It's not as simple as just somebody is suffering from trauma. It's actually the brain's attempt to predict more of the same in the future based on whatever difficulties happened in the past. So the reasoning is that to have a fight or flight alarm system that's overactive, but if you put that person in the middle of a combat zone, all those behaviors that we call PTSD aren't PTSD anymore. They're just survival instincts. And the problem is when you come stateside or when you've gone through trauma and you're back in your everyday life, you have to unlearn those behaviors, which takes time. It takes what we call today therapy that helps with those kinds of problems. So until you understand your past story, you won't be able to live in the present. You won't be able to really deal with the present as effectively as you would if you had not ever dealt with that past stuff. So what do you do about it? What you want to do is, that's it. You got to believe that the past story has some kind of an impact on your life today and tomorrow. And so that biological mandate might help your brain accept the fact that the past does have an impact on your present and future. And once you begin to accept the past does have an impact on your present and future, then you can get curious about it. For me, what I do and what I encourage other people to do is to make connections between the triggers you're experiencing today and past events you've gone through that you've never processed. Now, our culture doesn't like to process emotional things in general because it's painful. And we say to ourselves, I don't want to relive that experience. But the truth is, every time you get triggered, you're not in the present, you're reliving the past, but you don't know what to do about it, and you're helpless and powerless and experiencing all those kinds of negative emotional states. But with a life coach or a counselor, what you can do is you begin to make sense of those stories. You can do that on your own by praying and asking God to show you those things. But the key is you being okay with exploring with curiosity your past experiences without judgment and being honorable to your feelings instead of scared of them. And if you get curious and you honor those feelings, then you're going to feel like you're more in a controlling position versus a victim all over again. So I'd like to encourage you to just get curious about your past, how your past story is being replayed in the present, how it's setting you up for a trigger. And if you can get curious about that and begin to metabolize and process those old feelings, you'll begin to no longer feel like a victim of them anymore. So from our table to yours, I hope this crumb from our table is helpful for you today. All right, I felt like I was kind of all over the place.